Hey guys, LQ here with the LQ Review, and I'm here with another movie ranking. That's right, in my movie rankings, I'll rank franchises, I'll rank genres, I'll rank seasons of TV shows. I like to rank my movies. And this one is going to be a hot topic, This one is going to be a very hot topic ranking because I'm going to rank the DC Extended Universe. So that is your DC movie universe. Your Man of Steel, your Wonder Woman, your Suicide Squad, your Justice League, your Aquaman, your Shazam. That universe. Alright, there's been 7 movies in this universe so far. And I'm going to rank them from worst to best. Now, this is not going to be the same as your ranking. The movies that you like that are your favorite in the DCEU are going to be different than my favorites in the DCEU. This is how they hit me. So if you're here for validation, saying that this is going to prove that my ranking is right, well, go somewhere else because my ranking is almost certainly going to be different than yours. And quite frankly, it's going to be different than just about everybody's because mine is going to be a little controversial. It is. There's going to be people who are going to scream and yell and be angry with me. They're going to be angry when they figure out what my rankings are. So let's start with number 7. Number 7 I think is going to be most people's number 7, and that's Suicide Squad. Now to be very clear, I like every movie in the DCEU. Even Suicide Squad. I liked it. It was a mess. It was a mess. Infamously, they brought in a trailer company to cut the movie, and the movie was a mess. But man, I still had fun with it. I did. I still had fun with this movie. There was enough in this movie that I liked and had fun with that I had to, it's a positive rating for me. Harley Quinn was great. Deadshot was great. Amanda Waller was great. Even Captain Boomerang was great. The actors embodied their roles. Now, the problem was the narrative. The narrative wasn't great. But the actors brought these characters to life in such a way that I still had a blast watching the movie. So number 7 is Suicide Squad because it was just a hot mess. But I still liked it. Number 6 is, and it breaks my heart to say it, Justice League. Yeah, I had such hot... Justice League is one of those movies I waited my whole life for. Like, as a kid, I dreamed about a Justice League movie coming to the big screen. And it finally came here, and it again, the actors did a great job portraying the characters. When the Justice League was on screen together and interacting together, the movie was firing on all cylinders, but the problem was the villain was horrible, and the narrative wasn't very good. And there's a lot of reasons for that. We know that Warner Brothers meddled a little bit too much in this movie, and quite frankly, Warner Brothers was to blame for it not being great. But Justice League, narratively, was a mess. And that's really unfortunate. It breaks my heart, but there's a lot of good stuff in it. The portrayal of Superman was great. Him being resurrected was great. It introduced us to Aquaman. I still say Ben Affleck's Batman is fantastic. So there's a lot of good stuff in Justice League. The narrative was bad. Let's see, number 5. This is going to get a lot of people upset, I think. But number 5 is Aquaman. Again, I liked it. I liked Aquaman a lot. I really don't have anything real awful to say about the movie. You know, Jason Momoa embodies Aquaman. I loved Mera. I loved the Ocean Master and the whole world that they created underwater, all the world building that they did. If I did have something to complain about in the movie is that it was probably, its tone didn't mesh with the rest of the DCEU that came before it. And I understand why, because they were looking to change gears and do something a little different. So that makes complete sense. And how can you argue with that? Because Aquaman made $1.3 billion. So you can't argue with it, but tonally it was a little jarring for me. It almost felt a little bit too immature in the way it presented the world. You know, the octopus drumming the drums. I mean, all that felt a little juvenile to me. But overall, I loved it. I loved Black Manta. Good movie. Again, it's a smiley face emoji for me. It didn't quite reach the heights of the top 4 for me. And number 4, again, hot button topic here, Batman vs. Superman. I love Batman vs. Superman. It is the definitive version of Batman in my opinion. I know that you Nolan people are going to go crazy with that, and rightfully so. The Dark Knight is the best Batman movie ever made. The Dark Knight trilogy is the best Batman story ever told. But the Batman character in Batman vs. Superman is the definitive version of Batman. I adored Ben Affleck's portrayal, and just it was spot on for me. Wonder Woman making her big screen debut was fantastic. Gal Gadot just owned the character, and you know, I for one really love Henry Cavill's Superman. I know that some people felt he was a little too dark, a little too brooding, but man, I try to look at it in real world context, and that's how the world would react to somebody like with Superman's power coming to Earth. So yeah, I don't get the hate for Batman vs Superman, especially the extended cut. The extended cut is a superb movie. I love it, and it's number 4. Number 3 is Shazam. Again, Shazam was probably a little bit too much on that juvenile side that I was talking about with Aquaman, but what Shazam had was a ton of heart. A ton of heart, great character development, you know, and you this felt like Donner Superman to me. It felt like Donner Superman, and that's what brought Shazam above Aquaman. Despite its juvenile tendencies that Aquaman had, it brought it above Aquaman and even brought it above Batman vs. Superman, just because of the loads and loads and loads of heart that it had. Pretty faithful to the modern comic version of Shazam, and I think that they're doing their own world building, setting up their own sequel, bringing Black Adam in. I'm really anxious to see what they do next with Shazam. So Shazam is number 3. Number 2, Wonder Woman. Yes, Wonder Woman is not number 1 for me. Number 2 is Wonder Woman. Great movie. No Man's Land. The No Man's Land scene is still the best scene in the entire DC extended universe. When she crawls out of that trench, when she climbs out of that trench triumphantly, that is just a rousing moment in cinema, and I loved it. Wonder Woman was a fantastic origin story. Now, it suffered a little bit in the 3rd act with a generic villain, Ares, a generic CGI battle, but everything leading up to that was superb. Again, it felt very much like the Donner Superman. In tone, in execution, it was very similar. Even the 3-act structure was very similar to the Donner Superman. So I loved Wonder Woman. But that being said, and this is sure to be controversial, my number 1 movie in the DCEU, if you haven't already figured it out, is Man of Steel. Man of Steel is superb. I'm sorry, I know that people are going to hate me for it, but Man of Steel is a modern comic book masterpiece. I pit Man of Steel against anything that's been done in the MCU. It is fantastic storytelling. It is probably the single most underrated comic book movie in the history of comic book movies. It is superb. All right, I know people get mad because Superman killed Zod. Well, first of all, apparently you don't read many comics because he killed Zod in the comics too. And what was he going to do with Zod? Put him in a jail? Oh, here, man, you're on your honor, you have to stay in this jail and not break out. I mean, it's ridiculous to think that he was going to be able to let Zod live. Zod could not be left alive. Any prison you were going to put him in, he was going to escape from. And he had promised that he was going to destroy mankind. Zod had to die. And that was what we saw in that final scene, was Superman holding him and having to reconcile that fact that Zod, he has to do it. He has to kill him. And then he snaps Zod's neck and he didn't get up and say, well, that's done. That was a good time to be Superman. He got down on his knees and he screamed in anguish. Not only did he have to kill a man, but he extinguished the rest of his race. The only link that he had to his race, he just killed. I love that scene. There was so much anguish and so much hopelessness in that scene when Superman got down to his knees and screamed because he killed Zod. How can you not love that scene? It boggles my mind. It boggles my mind. It just, I don't get it. And people complain about the destruction of Man of Steel. Come on. Come on. I want you to complain about the destruction we're going to get in Godzilla. All right? Complain about that. King of the Monsters. You won't. You won't complain about that. There was nowhere that Superman could have taken Zod. Superman could not have drawn Zod out of that battle because Zod was hell-bent on destroying mankind. So, I don't know. I don't know. Man of Steel was superb. It was a masterpiece. It is one of the greatest comic book movies ever made. Easily in my top 10. So, that's my take on Man of Steel. So let's recap. Number 7, Suicide Squad. Number 6 is Justice League. Number 5 is Aquaman. Number 4 is Batman vs. Superman. Number 3 is Shazam. Number 2 is Wonder Woman. And number 1 is Man of Steel. Again, I liked every movie in the DCEU. Even Suicide Squad. Even Suicide Squad, I liked it too. But that's my ranking. Man of Steel being the top, superb movie, and that's how I see the DCEU. What's your ranking of the DCEU? Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe to my channel. And as always, thank you for being here at the OQ Review, where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Until next time, have a great day.